This is going to be a very interesting video. If you watch my videos regularly, you'll know that I'm in the process of switching away from iOS and my iPhone 7 Plus, having reviewed both the iPhone 8 Plus and also the iPhone 10 on the channel, and not being happy with iOS 11. I've been on this journey over the past probably 2 months almost now, where I'm looking for a suitable smartphone to actually switch across to. If you saw my video a few days ago, you'll have seen that I've been currently using the OnePlus 5T. In today's video, this is a smartphone that I've been wanting to get my hands on for a long time. In fact, ever since I saw it announced. A big thank you goes out to Vodafone UK. This is the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, and it looks really cool. Very high specification. Now this is available in various different colours. It's available in titanium grey, also midnight blue and mocha brown. Now I don't know what colour I've got yet. All I know from the top here is that I've got the 6GB RAM, 128GB storage model, and I've just seen what colour it is, and it was the colour I'm hoping. Awesome, it is the colour that I was hoping to take a look at. So we're going to do an unboxing. We're going to get this turned on and I'll give you my first impressions. Before I do so, a big thank you must go out to everyone who's tuned into the live broadcast. I really do appreciate it. The highlights for me on this, as with most smartphones I'm looking forward to testing, is the fact that it should have really good camera performance, and we'll come on to that in a short while. I'll also take some questions in the latter part of this video, but let's get the unboxing done first. So really nice box. You can see here, this is some of the branding on it just at the bottom here, which mentioned that it's got a Leica dual camera on there as well. So we have got sort of Leica lenses, not necessarily Leica sensors in here, but certainly Leica optics. We've also got some details on the top here regarding the colour. It just says the colour and the RAM and storage specification. On the back it says nothing else other than this was printed with soy ink. Very strange that that's on there. So let's undo the box. We'll just pop that there. Really nicely presented front and centre there. So this is what it looks like when we unbox it. We've got the phone just there, little pull tab just to pull this up. Wow, that looks really nice. So let's remove this plastic off the back. Ooh, I know a lot of you love that sound. Let's just pop that film to the back there. Very glossy on the back. We've got a pre-applied screen protector on the front as well, which is really nice. We've got USB-C on the bottom, and we've also got what looks like an IR blaster and a microphone on the top. Volume rocker, power button on this side, and then we've got the SIM tray on this side here. Of course, on the back we've got the fingerprint sensor, placed quite high up in comparison to some smartphones, but just underneath the dual cameras. And we've got this different colour on the back as well. Not sure if you can catch that as the light changes, but a little strip which sort of frames the dual cameras, also the dual LED flash, and I'm assuming that this little one here is either laser focus or some sort of focus assist. So really nice looking phone though. Initial impressions of the materials used are really very nice. I'm liking the feel of that a lot. A single speaker on the bottom, and we've also obviously got front facing camera, little sensor at the top. I think it's nice that we've also got that screen protector pre-applied. Now it is going to be a fingerprint magnet. I've only had this out of the box very short while, and I can already see fingerprints all over the back, so a case is probably a necessity for this. Let's set this going. We're going to actually hope we've got power in here, which we have. So this is now starting up. Whilst that's starting up, let's take a look in the rest of the box, and then we run through some of the specifications. We've got 2 compartments underneath. In this left hand compartment we have got a case. We've also got a SIM removal pin there as well, or tool. Let's see what sort of case we got. Nice that we got a case, because as I said, it was showing fingerprints already. and it's a nice silicone case. I'm seeing a lot of manufacturers do this. There was a case included with the OnePlus 5T, and it's nice that we've got like one of these flexible cases included with this. Just wipe those fingerprints off and pop it in the case. This is a loan device from Vodafone, so I've got it for a maximum of 2 weeks. It has already started up and it's asking me to select the language, but we'll come back to that, so I just want to see what's in this other side here. So this is what's in the other side. We have got a USB-C to full-size USB cable. It's purple in there as well, a purple colour. That's cool, different colour, and purple that end as well, just inside the metal connector. So white cable, that's acceptable because this isn't a black device, so white cable's okay. We've also got white earphones. So these are sort of look like Apple AirPods actually. Look, same sort of shape as Apple AirPods, and they got a little inline remote control. That's the cables. Now, if you buy this in the UK, you will probably get a UK USB adapter. This is a review unit. It's got a European one in there, but nice that we've got the charger in there as well. Is this a fast charger? It looks like a standard output charger. 4.5 5 amp maximum, so it might charge a little bit faster. Switching power adapter. It says supercharge on it, so I assume that that's going to charge a little bit faster than some chargers. So before we set this up, let's just run through some of the specifications. So we have got a 6-inch screen on here. 6-inch, it's a OLED display, 18:9 format. So nice screen. It looks very evenly lit. I'm glad I kept it on this setup screen because I can have a look at the off-axis colours. It's quite a cool colour, so a little bit on the blue side, and not blue as such, but just a cooler rather than warmer colour. And as we go off-axis, you get a tiny bit of colour shift. No rainbow effect as such, but just a tiny bit of colour shift on there as well. So that's the display. 16.7 million colours, 112% NTSC, 70,000 to 1 contrast ratio. Inside we've got a Kirin 970 processor. So that's an octa-core processor. This is running Google Android version 8.0, so the latest version of Google Android out of the box. This is the 128GB storage version with 6GB of RAM. You can also get a lower spec model, 4GB of RAM with 64GB of storage. I'm not sure if you can expand that. I don't think you can expand that. We've also got obviously GPS, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, etc. The USB-C, this is really interesting. The USB-C actually supports DisplayPort 1.2. So what I mean by that, if you imagine the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 where they gave the demonstration of you being able to plug it into an external display and you get like a desktop experience, with this particular phone you can just plug in a USB-C to DisplayPort 1.2 cable, plug it into a monitor. This will then act as a trackpad or keyboard, or you can attach a separate keyboard and mouse, for example, and then you've got a desktop type experience. Now I mentioned we've got a fingerprint sensor. On the back here, the cameras, so the cameras on the back, this is how the cameras are set up. We've got a 20 megapixel monochrome sensor and a 12 megapixel RGB, both f1.6, optical image stabilization, dual LED flash. We've also got phase detect and contrast detect and laser and depth autofocus on here as well, and 4K video recording. The front camera is 8 megapixels. So that's pretty much it on the specifications, other than on top of Google Android 8.0, we've also got the MUI or EMUI 8.0 overlay. That's Huawei's take on their sort of user interface. And inside we have got a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, which is pretty impressive. There's also a dual SIM and a single SIM version as well. No mention on, or no mention, if I can get my words out correctly, on here about there being waterproof, any waterproof capability on here. I'm pretty sure when I saw this announced they did say it was waterproof. Maybe I am mistaken, but certainly no wireless charging. So we've just got that fast charge via USB-C. Device looks huge, says Raymond Moore. How big is it? Well, it's a 6-inch screen. If I hold this up in comparison to my OnePlus 5T, it's pretty much identical in size to the OnePlus 5T. You can see there. Almost spot on, same size really. And then in comparison to my now out of use iPhone 7 Plus, it's a little bit smaller height wise than the iPhone 7 Plus, definitely thinner as well than the iPhone 7 Plus. So let's set this up and then I'll take some more questions later on. So it's asking me to select country. We'll agree to the end user license agreement. We've got to agree to a couple more things there. Then we've got Wi-Fi. So let's just pop my password in for the Wi-Fi. And connect. So this is now connecting to the Wi-Fi. It's now saying to go next because it's connected. Just a second. So now it's going to ask me to put my Google account in. We're going to skip that for now because I don't want you to sit through all of that. We've got some various other things that we have to agree or disagree to. We just agree to them all and then we can set it up as a new phone. It's asking me to set up a Huawei ID. This allows me access to their services. Let's skip that for now. It's asking me if I want to do a cloud backup or phone clone. We'll skip that for now as well. Set up as new device. Enable cloud. So we can safely manage photos, contacts and other data in the cloud. So it looks like Huawei are offering some sort of cloud service. I'm going to say not now for the moment. Fingerprint touch control. So it's asking us to enable the fingerprint and we're going to protect that with a pin. Let's just pop a pin in. And now we're going to enroll a finger. So we're going to do this finger at the back. I hope you can see this. I'm just putting my finger on the sensor, repositioning it and lifting it, and then it says to put the edges of the fingerprint on. So now we're doing the edges. It's really asking me to do the edges. That's very awkward. There we go. So it's successfully enrolled one fingerprint. So we say OK. And then we say get started. And that is it. That is it set up. Very, very nice looking screen. Wow. Let me just turn the brightness down a little tiny bit, just so that you can see it on camera a bit better. Wow. That looks really nice. Let me give you a close-up look at that screen. Now, it might be flickering on the broadcast that you're watching. In real life, it is not flickering. It might just be the refresh rate, obviously, of this broadcast. But a very, very evenly lit screen. Let's pop it up to full brightness just to see what that looks like. That is very bright. Look, you can see the camera trying to adjust for it. It's made me go all sort of dark in the background. Very, very bright screen. Wow. So let's pop that back down. Looks like we've already got a SIM card in here because it says Vodafone. So it's got a SIM card already. We've got... how do we get into the app tray? Has this got an app tray? No, it hasn't. So I'm assuming you might be able to do that with either a launch or in the settings. But we just swipe across to see the other apps. We've got notification tray that we can pull down like so. And all of the quick shortcut settings there as well. We can pop into settings. This is how the settings panel is laid out. And we've got various settings in there. Display. Let's just turn... So we've got eye comfort, turning off after 30 seconds of activity. We'll change that. We'll turn off automatic brightness for now. So really nicely laid out actually. What's eye comfort? Oh, eye comfort is like a blue filter to filter out the blue light. Text size normal. Screen resolution is set to full HD, so it's a 2160 by 1080 resolution. Smart resolution is an option. Automatically lower the screen res to help save power. We'll leave it at full HD for now, and then we'll pop back to the main home screen. So that's what we're sort of greeted with on the main home screen. It looks very, very nice indeed. Now, we'll come on to your questions in a short while, but I want to just very quickly try the camera. I've done this in most of my recent unboxings, so let's just take this picture of the keyboard in front of me. We'll take one just under there as well, and then let's take one over there. Just very quickly, just really quick. And also let's switch the camera around. The interface is quite nice. Oh, I'm not liking the front facing camera so much. It looks like there's like a sheen over it. I'll show you the photo in a moment. Let's take this selfie. Smile! So we're going to mirror on. It looks like it was just catching, I think, the glare from one of my studio lights. Let's take a look back at these photos. So this is the selfie that I took. So again, you can see that. It looks pretty good. Nice amount of detail around the top, but it certainly did sort of not overexpose even. It sort of took that light. I've got a studio light just based off camera over there, and that sort of created this sort of almost a cloudiness to one side of the photo. Let's take a look at these other ones though that we took. That's really nice. So the rear camera again performs very, very well. This is the picture I took just then behind me, and that has got some nice detail in it. Nice colours as well. Very good colour accuracy. This one here, this was the second photo I took in the dark areas. Compared to some of the phones that I've tested recently, that's not quite as good a performance as the OnePlus 5T. A little bit more grain in it, and it didn't really bring out the detail in the darker area on top of my audio interface. This is something you can't see. This is off camera, just underneath my monitor there. That's the audio interface I use for my XLR microphones. So not quite as good performance in the low light areas. And then this is the MacBook Pro again, just sitting off camera. This is what I'm reading your comments from. So early impressions of the camera, and this is very, very early. This has just come out of the box. Is that it's got a nice amount of detail, nice colour accuracy, but not quite as good in low light. And the front facing camera, I'm going to have to experiment with that a bit. It doesn't look fantastic, it just looks okay. It just looks acceptable. But overall, a really nice looking smartphone. I'm really sort of quite enamoured with the design and the feel of it. It feels like very, very high quality. And Huawei years ago were really well known for their sort of budget end smartphones coming in at a really low price point, and they've crept the price up but crept the quality up as well. This feels very, very nice. All the fit and finish. Let me just slip the case off. We've got little beveled edges. All the fit and finish on it feels very, very good indeed. And I do like the clarity of the screen. It's a very nice looking screen. And it proves that there is a slight colour shift, but it proves that OLED or AMOLED screens can be done without too much colour shift. And the viewing angle on it, sort of that axis, which is ridiculous. You're never going to look at your phone like that. But the actual colour and detail there is very, very good indeed. So I am impressed. Initial impressions are very, very good. So let's take a look inside the comments. I've got comics on the brain because I've been looking at comics this morning. Shh, don't tell anyone. Let's take a look inside the comments here. David Hepworth, you saw my video about taking 32 meg photos with your iPhone. Yes, I did see your video, David. I couldn't respond to your tweet this morning. I remember you tweeting me now. David James, do you think any company other than Apple and Google's Android will ever do their own OS? There have been attempts, of course. We've had WebOS, or remember the Palm phones? We've had Windows Phone, of course. Prior to that, we had Windows CE on devices. There was also Sailfish, is that right? Or Sailfish, something like that. There was another operating system. So there have been attempts, but nothing has caught on, because it's all about the ecosystem and the apps and the user experience that make for a good device. We've also got here from Ask Annie UK, what's the build quality like? Any creaks or flexing? Well, I'm not going to bend the phone because it's not mine, it's just been sent in for me to review, but it feels really robust. It really does feel nicely made, very, very solid in the hand, a nice width to it as well. I mentioned regarding my Note 8 review or videos that I didn't keep the Note 8 because it felt top heavy. This and the OnePlus 5T are pretty much the same size, a little bit smaller probably than the Note 8, but these feel really well balanced. So in the hand, the Note 8 was feeling like as though I was going to drop it all the time. This feels really nice. Nice curves as well to the bottom. Square screen, rectangular screen, no notch. Sensors on the top with no notch. Fingerprint sensor. Let's turn this off. Tap. 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 Very, very quick. So tap. No delay at all in unlocking. Really very, very good indeed. And in fact, if I can't do it because I'm going to use the same fingerprint, but this is the OnePlus 5T, and the OnePlus 5T equally as quick. The OnePlus 5T also does the face recognition and unlocks just with the face. So very comparable phones actually. I did notice something with the OnePlus 5T the other day, is that although it's a rectangular screen, there is a very, very slight curve to the corners. Very small radius curve, which looks really nice. Also, update for you, I'll come back to the Huawei Mate 10 Pro in a short while. Not sure if you can see this, but if you look at the very top of my OnePlus 5T, if the camera will focus on it, there is a signal bar. You're going to have to take my word for it. There is a signal bar on the top of the status area there. And what does that mean? That means that this has now got my SIM card in it, so my iPhone 7 Plus no longer has a SIM card in it. Just saying, you heard it here first. Just saying. SIM card in the OnePlus 5T, my own personal SIM card. So, David James, don't like the fingerprint on the back. I think it looks worse than the notch on the iPhone. So glad Apple didn't do this. Well, everyone is entitled to their opinion. I know a lot of people, including yourself, David, that really like the iPhone 10. And good on you. You know, everyone has different tastes. I like this watch. Not everyone is going to like that watch. So everyone has differing opinions and tastes. We've also got a question here from Michael Coleman. Hi Dave, just wondering, are you getting the HTC Plus? I think you're referring to the HTC U11 Plus. I did mention this in yesterday or the day before yesterday's broadcast. I have got an HTC U11 Plus coming in to review and test, and it's due in the first week of December. I've also got a Razer phone coming in as well. I have had that confirmed. So as long as that comes to fruition and turns up, that should be with me sometime next week, hopefully. Fingers crossed. We've also got a question here from Paul Phillips. What will end up being your daily driver? I don't know yet. My daily driver at the moment is OnePlus 5T. That may well change. I just don't know. And Paul Sergides says, my selfie taken on this did look anemic. It did look quite washed out, so I'm going to have to experiment with that a little bit further. Raymond Moore, Dave, do you mind the manufacturer putting their own skin on top of Android? I've often wondered that. I mean, manufacturers do these skins as a way of differentiating their experience from others. I don't mind it as long as it's a very light customization, but I really do wish that these manufacturers would just give us a stock Android experience and differentiate their phones by battery life, camera performance, speaker quality, and really concentrate, really focus down on that and make those the features rather than putting their user interface over the top. because it creates fragmentation. Some people would love this hardware, for example, and might not like the EMUI overlay on the top. So very, very good question. I wish that they were all just stock Android. Michael Coleman, what is your main phone at the moment, Dave? Michael, you're not listening. The OnePlus 5T, I just showed this. The OnePlus 5T has my SIM card in it. This is my main phone at the moment. The only concern I had was I switched off iMessage on my iPhone, then put the SIM card in here, so that should work fine with text messages, etc. Then I went to re-enable iMessage, just using my email addresses, and it still says awaiting activation. Maybe I'm going to have to put the SIM card back in, remove the phone number from iMessage, and then do it that way. I'll experiment off camera, of course. Raymond Moore, does it bother you when there's a pillar box in an 18:9 video when playing 16:9 video? No, not really. It doesn't bother me at all. I would rather have a pillar box effect than a notch cut out of the video. We've also got Clive McCabe saying, totally agree about stock Android. And David James saying, Apple don't want you to leave. Apple couldn't care less. They really couldn't care less about me. Don't think they really care in general about a lot of users. They've got their vision. They're going to stick to it. And hopefully they will fix things in the future. David Hepworth says, you need to deregister your phone from iMessage. Just Google it. Yeah, I did Google it, and I did what Google said, and it didn't work properly. So off camera, when I finish this broadcast, I will sort out the iMessage issue or iMessage problem at the moment. And Chokan Mech in Japan says, oh, we are live. We certainly are live when we're looking at the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. So we're going to be wrapping up this video very shortly. So if you've got any more questions at all relating to this device, please do let me know. I'm just going to look at these images again because I really want to let's just agree to that. Oh, I didn't want that. It's asking me to like sign in to look at the images. I just want to look at this selfie again and just see what went wrong. In fact, let me take another selfie. There's just that cast coming in there. Let me move right round so that I've got a bit more even lighting and take another one. Ah, what's this? There's a little icon on my screen. Beauty level, it says 5. Let's pop that down to 1. Just a bit of beauty. Now let's have a look at this photo. I just wanted to get better lighting rather than that lighting coming in from one side. So that's better. That's got more detail. It hasn't sort of flattened out all of these wrinkles up here in my forehead. It's kept a nice bit of detail on the hairline as well, or lack thereof. And it still looks a little bit sort of washed out on this side, but a little bit better. I mean, I am generally quite pale. The colour accuracy, not as good on the front facing camera though as the rear facing camera. The rear facing camera definitely outperforms that front facing camera. Let me also go into the rear facing camera and take, let's see how we do this. Oh, Pro mode. We didn't want Pro mode. We wanted to just switch it to monochrome. What does this do? Wider aperture enabled. Oh, we can enable a wider aperture. We can also switch on portrait. We've also got like a motion picture. And what's this one? Standard, vivid colours and smooth colours. So we can actually make the colours more punchy. Oh, that's weird. Let me take a photo of this and show you this. So we've got like vivid colours enabled. Let's show you that. So that is like a really highly processed. That was a photo of my Ricola sweets there. And that's like a really over processed photo. So I couldn't find, or couldn't easily find, the setting for monochrome. It's obviously in here somewhere. Resolution, assistive grid, watermarks. What about this side? Oh, here we are, monochrome. You have to swipe to one side. Let's take a picture, monochrome picture. I like the way the monochrome looks actually. Wow, that's got some nice contrast in it. Wow, that is the best performance I've seen. That's really nice. Look at this. So this is like a monochrome picture using that second lens. And this is one of the big features they talked about during the presentation, the fact that it has a nice high resolution monochrome sensor in it as well. So overall I'm impressed. Not really taken by the UI. You know, it's a bit big, icon-y, playful, not too serious. You know, I will probably have to put a launch on there if I was going to live with this phone full time. But the camera performance seems okay. Better on the rear facing camera than that selfie front facing camera. Can't say much about performance yet because I'm just swiping between screens, so I can't really say much about that. With regards to battery life, it's got 4,000 milliamp hours, so it should be a really good battery life. So anyway, we'll take a few more questions and then we will sort of end this broadcast, I think. We'll take a few more. Dave, where did you get the wallpaper on your monitor? From David Thompson. This was just a standard wallpaper that's available in macOS as far as I know. Mech in Japan, what was the overall verdict then? Too soon to say an overall verdict. I'll give you my verdict on this in about a week's time. I don't believe in doing reviews as soon as they've come out of the box. This is just an initial impressions. We've also got Paul Sergidis saying can't beat the front camera on the HTC U11, Dave. That is really good to know. Raymond Moore, can we shoot 4K video? Yes, 4K video up to 30 frames per second. And Raymond Moore says, can I do a quick video test? Well, why not? Let's do a quick video test. So we'll switch across to video, which has made it go into full colour, so not monochrome. It's going to settings. So we're in full HD at the moment, so let's pop it up to 4K. And then we go back across to that. And then we will try to do a video. We'll hold it out in front of us like so and set the video going. So this is me doing a very quick test of the 4K video performance on the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. And then we push stop. Did that do vertical video? Let's have a look. It didn't do vertical video, so I'm going to play this back. Let's pop the volume up. Set the video going. So this is me doing a very quick test of the 4K video performance on the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. It looks nice and crisp. It certainly does look nice and crisp. Here, I'll give you a look. So this is me doing a very quick test of the 4K video performance on the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. So the video looks good. The audio sounded pretty acceptable as well. None of those issues that the Pixel 2 XL actually has with the audio accompanying video recording. So initial impressions again of the video was it looked okay. I'd have to look at it on a screen really to determine my honest opinion about it. But first impressions are that it looked pretty decent. So anyway, that is it for my unboxing and first impressions of the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. Again, a big thank you to Vodafone UK for making this possible. I will bring you my verdict on this sometime next week, possibly the week after, when I've used it a bit. So many devices to test at the moment, so it's really difficult to do the review quicker than that. But I think it's of much more value to you if I use the phone properly rather than try and rush my overall opinion. So thanks very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Thank you again for taking part in the live chat and for posing your questions. I hope you enjoyed the video. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you all in the next one.